What's up, fellow classers? It's Pauline here, and hopefully you guys like that beginning clip of the wizard that hero wizard that took the rest of the base after all the other troops hit the giant bomb. And if it was one of my wizards, it would have probably tried to bust through the wall to get to that dark elixir storage, but it took out the cannon and then walked right around and took out the dark elixir storage. So that was a really climatic ending, dramatic. And I think it was down to like the last 3 seconds too. So very, very close. Let's look at some of the top ground attacks in Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11. The ones that are just crushing bases and that are incredibly powerful. And we'll start at Town Hall 10 and work our way up to Town Hall 11. So let's start all the way at the bottom at number 40. And we're going to look at about 4 Town Hall 10 attacks. And we're going to look at this one against 40 with a mass miner attack. And this is just such an incredibly powerful attack when there is a loon, a lava hound, and a loon in the enemy CC. You don't have to worry about it at all. It does absolutely nothing to the miners. You just have to make sure you take care of that loon and with a poison, and then just bring 5 heals and completely crush the base. So we've got the queen funneling at around 1-2 o'clock, and then we've got the king funneling at 6 o'clock. And then we're gonna just send our miners straight up the gut. We've already got a couple miners that are taking out the town hall initially, and a couple of them starting at 6 o'clock. And then we're just gonna push into the rest of the base all the way from 3:30 up until 5 o'clock. And there we go. We did trip the lava hound, but fortunately that loon is targeting those miners at 6 o'clock, and it's making its way through the poison. So we've already dropped 2 of our 5 heals to go ahead and push our miners through the base and make sure that they are they're fully healed. And we'll drop yet another one as it's going against the enemy queen, and all the splash damage with the wizard tower, the bomb tower, and then the expo. Lava hound is doing absolutely nothing to it. That slammer is not going to make it very far with an AD on it, but I think we're going to get to where we need to get towards that group of miners at noon. There we go. And we've met with the rest of the miners with max. Oh no, we've got hog riders with max hog riders to help shave off some of those defenses as the miners get caught up on the enemy king. And then they're going to the hogs are going to go all the way up towards the Tesla farm there. But we don't have any more poison. We have 1 poison. Do we not use the poison on that? That's weird. We don't have any more heals. That's what we don't have anymore. No more heals, but we've got a bunch of miners continuing to make their way from 9 o'clock until noon, and taking out those last 2 Teslas is what we really want to focus on. And there we go. We just got a whole bunch of miners, and they're taking out the base. So there we go with our last couple of buildings. Lava Hound is doing absolutely nothing to them. And what do we... Okay, so we used a poison in the CC. That's what we did. All right, and that is a max poison now at level 6, taking out that loon. Good way to start us out. So let's look at number 39. And number 39, we're going to look at a mass hog attack. So the key for where this type of attack is to make sure that we have a way of taking out the enemy queen, right? CC is a big deal, enemy queen is a big deal. But we're having no charge. We don't have any queen charge or anything like that. We don't have any golems to tank, but we're able to use our wall wrecker kind of like a golem and tank some of these defenses to let the king, queen. We've already done tons of funneling with this. And here we go, pushing our way into the base, freezing that queen just to make sure that the wall wrecker is able to get into the compartment we need to. King behind pops the ability. He's able to take out that queen in a couple of slaps. And then we've got our queen still with ability that she's going to come up on the flank and make sure she takes the rest of this enemy CC out. And then once the enemy CC and the queen is taken out, now we can start our hogs. So we're going to do a counterclockwise type of deployment of our hogs, starting at noon or 1 o'clock and working our way towards 9 and then back down to 6. Our queen was still up momentarily, but the enemy king has taken care of her. But we've already gotten a lot of this base done, and got our key objectives taken care of, and now it's just about dropping heal after heal after heal and letting these hogs make their way through the base. We do drop a very good giant to tank that wizard tower and let those hogs make their way towards the wizard tower, as well as tanking those point defenses, and now we can pretty much swag that heal. More brave than I would be. I would like to make sure I've got all my hogs at full health, just in case they hit something stupid like a couple double giant bombs or something like that. But they're going to be smart, and they're going to take out that king and then make their way towards the rest of the base. We did have a miner there we go. We dropped that at noon just to start taking down those big storage units so we don't fail on time. And then the wizard comes and helps him out, and then we swag the heal and take out the town hall as the last building. So good way. I love to see mass hogs. Such a cool attack. And we'll make our way to 38. And we're going to look at the Elsa. We haven't seen the Elsa in a long time. We're using just all witches with healers and letting that wall wrecker tank for all those that DPS that's coming in. Just splitting up those witches, starting them up at 6 o'clock with healers behind. And then also at 3 o'clock with healers behind. That will drop just in a second. There we go. And interesting base choice. I don't like that AD at 6 o'clock for those healers, but I think they'll be out of range long enough to let the wall wrecker come in here and do its thing and to get the king queen in there to take it out. I didn't write down what we have in our wall wrecker, so I'm not sure we have, but a really cool freeze on all that splash damage. And then we have just a bunch of archers and a baby dragon, but a poison will take care of that as under a freeze. They will be completely annihilated. And we have the king queen coming up. King is tanking for the queen. We still have not popped our ability on the king or the queen. And it looks like we have bowlers in the CC. So they're going to be able to take out a lot of those buildings that are on the outside of the core, as we did not bring a jump. But we've got our witches just completely tearing up the two sides of this base. So we still have not used our king ability yet. There we go. We finally popped the king ability. It's tearing through walls, opening up a whole new world for this queen. And she has not used her ability yet either. As soon as that wizard tower goes down, we don't have to worry about anything because all the splash damage is gone besides the mortars. But the mortars do absolutely nothing to witches under a heal. And then we can just drop a bunch of wizards at 10 o'clock just to continue to push through the base and just clear up the rest of these buildings. So absolutely crushing this base with that attack. There's your composition right there. Really nice look at the base and seeing what it was susceptible to. Okay, we're going to look at one more because I haven't seen this attack that often as well. And this is a mass P.E.K.K.A. attack. So we've got 8 P.E.K.K.A.s and no healers. So it's not the Peebo or anything like that. There's a couple of bowlers, but it's not your traditional P.E.K.K.A.s with healers with the queen and everything like that. Why not? You've got multi-infernos and you've got a base and you're just going to let it go. So you've got a P.E.K.K.A. coming at 6 o'clock doing funneling and tanking for that wizard. And then we've got other P.E.K.K.A.s at noon with wizards behind it. And I think we dropped the wall wrecker at 9 o'clock. There we go. So it's just about doing massive funneling work with just a whole bunch of P.E.K.K.A.s making their way from 6 o'clock to 9 and noon to 9. And then we've got the rest of our P.E.K.K.A.s that are dropped in there. It is a lava hound in the CC. And they're going to basically tickle the P.E.K.K.A. for a while until it gets into the queen's radius. We have a loon that we need to take care of, and we just did. And then we're healing everything back up. I don't think it heals the P.E.K.K.A.s up to full, but it heals them up pretty good. And the wall wrecker is still doing its thing, making its way through the base. We're going to drop a jump right on by that queen, but that's just to open up the south part of the base. The wall wrecker has done a good job opening up the northern part, but we do want to get into that other part of the core, and we don't want to have to bang on the wall too much. We do have a split on our P.E.K.K.A.s. We have a P.E.K.K.A. split, which you don't hear very often, but you're going to hear it here because we have 8 of them or 6 of them in the base now. So the queen is going to be key in this attack, just basically letting the P.E.K.K.A. tank for her and then sniping out all the rest of the buildings as they're walking through. She is doing her own thing right now. It's taking care of that Inferno Tower and then the bomb tower and the air defenses. But we have a whole bunch of P.E.K.K.A.s still making their way on the outside of the base. They've already pushed through, and the queen is going to spend some time breaking down this wall. But fortunately, I think the P.E.K.K.A.s are going to make their way. We'll speed it up a little bit, almost to meet her before she gets into range of the other point defense. There we go. They're tanking the cannon. And then we just have to worry about that Archer Tower and Wizard Tower. But we still haven't popped the Queen ability yet. So after she gets out of this base, she is going to... And there we go. We've lost all everything. So it's really up to the Queen. Fortunately, she has her ability one-on-one. There's no defense that's going to be able to take a Queen out with ability. So very nice. I like to see that comp. Such an interesting composition. With 2 heals, 2 rages, a jump, and a freeze. 8 P.E.K.K.A.s. Wow. Really, really cool. So we'll go into Town Hall 11 now and look at some of the attacks there. And we'll start at 18. Because we didn't see the Peebo at Town Hall 10, we'll look at it at Town Hall 11. And here is your Peebo with bats at the back end. So we'll start with a king and wizard at 9 o'clock to funnel. And then we'll start, I think, at the queen at 6 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, with a baby dragon. Again, to funnel, dropping those loons to take out that Archer Tower, and also to check any SAMs. There we go. So we've got the king popping his ability, getting all the way towards 10 o'clock, and then we've got the queen. Okay, so we didn't use the queen at 6. We used some P.E.K.K.A.s to funnel, and we've got to get the wall wrecker into the base, because if you look at this, it's got to break a whole bunch of compartments to get into each one of these buildings, and we don't want everything to walk. So finally, those bowlers take out that... I think it was a wizard tower, but now we've got a lot of the base open, and I don't think we have a jump. I think we were just going to let this wall wrecker do its thing and let raged P.E.K.K.A.s and everything come into here. And then I'm forgetting where we drop our bats and this attack, but we're going to be patient on that. And we don't have any more Inferno towers, so all we have to do is worry about those 3 wizard towers. And, of course, the Eagle Artillery that needs to go down like yesterday. So there we go with our Ice Golem. And now we can drop our bats at 10 o'clock. The Ice Golem is tanking for that Wizard Tower, so we don't have to worry about that at all. We don't have to waste a freeze or any other spell. And then it's going to start, the Ice Golem is going to make its way towards 2. So we do have to freeze that Wizard. We don't even have to freeze that Wizard Tower, because that was... completely tanked by so everything is timing here. It's really nice timing. The other wizard tower at 4 o'clock is down, so this base is beyond crushed. We can swag 2 of our freezes, because these bats have nothing to take them out. They're not going to trigger any air bombs or anything like that, because bats traps don't trigger it. It has to be another air unit that does it. So that minion could set off an air bomb and take out those bats, but that's not going to happen in this attack. Spoiler alert, it does get to 3, and the bats finish up the base. So really cool attack, probably the most powerful attack at Town Hall 11 right now. And then we'll look at number 17. Whenever there is a Laloon in the enemy CC, you're either going to hit it with your Laloon of your own or Mass Miner, which is what Adrian uses for this particular base, because there is a Lava Hound Laloon in the CC. So we'll speed it up a little bit, and we'll see some funneling from the king. There we go. And then we have a baby dragon, just again to help funneling at noon, and then we've got the queen at 9 o'clock. And I think in this attack the queen gets so much value. We've already dropped those miners in super fast, because we don't want the queen to have to deal with that Laloon at all. We want it to start targeting the miners. There we go with the heal, and I think we got to drop a poison. There we go. We drop our poison there. We've already used 2 of our heals on this base, and we still have 4 more. Now we have 3 more. We just dropped We've got two more now is we've dropped the pushing the miners through the base and making sure they're all healed up towards all the splash damage that there. Queen still has not popped their ability, and we haven't even dropped our slammer yet, and there's only one air defense left in this base, which is at 3 o'clock. So, I mean, these miners are just doing so much damage to this base. We still have one more heal that we're going to use on those two air defenses. We don't even need to use the slammer at this point. I mean, this base is completely crushed. I think these miners will be able to take out the Tesla and the cannon. But, yeah, so, wow. Just completely annihilating this base, swagging an entire siege machine and all of the components in the base. That's how powerful a mass miner is when you have a Laloon in the enemy CC. Just wow, unreal. So if you guys want to crush bases with a Laloon in the CC, there you go. Use your mass miner. All right, a couple more. We're going to look at 14. But this time we're going to look at the Peebo, but we're going to look at it without bats on the back end. So this is just straight, let's crush this base by making everything go from one side to the other and collect the 3 stars at the end. Because we have 2 jumps, 2 rages, 3 rages and a heal, again with our healers too. So we're doing our funneling work at 1 o'clock with a baby dragon. We've got a queen with healers at noon or 11:30. Okay, all right. Now we've got a warden behind it, and the king dropped for a little king on king action, king swap at 9 o'clock or 9:30, and then as soon as that goes down, I think we can drop our P.E.K.K.A.s. There we go. So the king pops the ability, and there's only one way to get into the base now. Is it's done a really good job funneling, and then we're dropping a jump in there because we're going to save the slammer for a little bit. So we've used one of our jumps and one of our rages and one of our heals, but we still have all of our most of our healers up. We do have a Laloon in the CC. We've taken care of that with a poison. That we've used our last heal and our second to last rage. We still have one more rage left, but we have like all of our troops up pretty much. We have all of our bowlers, all of our P.E.K.K.A.s, and then we can use our slammer there at 9 o'clock to take out some of these defenses. We do have a Tesla farm and an AD all the way at 3 o'clock, so that is quite problematic as we've already used both of our jumps. But this slammer has got a lot of work ahead of it. So we've got most of our healers up that are still healing the queen, and we do have a couple of loons. The big thing about this is that Inferno Tower is going to be a pain because it's not easily accessible, and it's just going to do a ton of damage to all these units here. And we do not have the queen ability anymore, but we're able to go ahead and take out a lot of these defenses with the loons, and it's really up to the P.E.K.K.A.s and queen and bowlers to take out the rest of this base. There's a lot of splash damage, but fortunately when you have healers, splash damage really doesn't mean that much. And there's just a whole bunch of units that can be tanking for that Inferno Tower for those healers as well. So we've already done all the funneling of those buildings on the outside, so that's really cool. So it's at least they're not going to continue to walk around the base. They're can punch right in through there, and once the P.E.K.K.A.s get a hole into that base, they're going to move on to, they're not even going to get the hole because they're taking out defense at a time. So and look at, that's just crazy. It's like musical chairs with these P.E.K.K.A.s, and unfortunately the healers on the P.E.K.K.A. and not on the queen, finally they switch over to the queen, and that it's going to be a hero loon that's going to take out that last defenses, so we don't even have to worry about punching through the wall. There we go, with bomb towers down, and we've got a 3-star. So a really cool look at an attack without the bats at the end. And then finally, we're going to look at another miner attack, but it's not going to be a mass miner. It's going to be a queen charge miner. And I had to look at this attack to see if it was a fresh hit or not, because I was wondering why that Surge wanted to trigger the CC since it was a Laloon, but wasn't known at that time because this is a fresh hit. So had to take out that the CC, not knowing what it was. I'm sure it would have been probably a little bit different, maybe a Sui, King, Queen, and Mass Miner if we knew it was Lava Hound in the CC, but still really nicely done. We've got the King at 11 o'clock and with some archers behind it, wizards doing some funneling. And then we're going to pop the ability. There we go with the Lava Hound and the Loon in the CC. And then at this point, we've pretty much got to drop our Queen. And there we go at 3 o'clock or 2:30. And we're saving that poison for the Loon. Let's speed it up a little bit as we've got to wait till it gets all the way down. There we go. And unfortunately, it's going to target the Lava Hound first because the Loon moves so slow. So we've got to poison the Lava Hound. I'm sorry, the Loon. And the cool thing about the timing on this is it gets the pups and the Loon in the poison at the same time. So you can't do much better than that as far as timing. That's really, really good. And then we'll speed it up a little bit to normal. Well, we'll get it normal speed. And then we've got wall wreckers and a whole bunch of miners coming up right behind the wall wrecker. And the Queen is going to have a pretty easy walk around the rest of the base without having to worry about any of those healers getting in range of anything. Once that Inferno Tower goes down, we will have to, no, we don't have to pop the ability, so we still have Queen ability too. So at this point, the Queen has nothing to snipe those healers, and she can pop ability at any time, so we can focus on those miners making their way through the base. We still have one more rage for the Queen. Probably could have dropped that rage and brought another heal, or raged up the miners. And there we go, right in the core. And that's the kind of cool thing about when you bring an extra rage, is it can always be used to push through the base with the miners. And look how quickly they go through the base when they're under rage. We did have to pop the Warden ability just to make sure that they didn't get too much splash on them. And there we go, we're using our last heal around that Inferno Tower. And once this Inferno Tower goes down, I think the Queen could probably take out the rest of the base by herself. Still has the ability, so everything's going really, really well. And every once in a while when you do this kind of thing, you'll get a healer switch. The healers will go on those low miners, but it's still sticking with the Queen. I think we do have one healer. The one healer is like, hey, I got to heal these miners. These miners are really low, so I'll catch you guys later on the rebound at 9 o'clock. And then everything's just moving so quickly. We still have ability with Queen finally popping the ability, and she would be able to take it out without the help of those miners, but the miners do it first. So really nice. So hopefully you guys enjoyed these ground attacks. These are some of the strongest strategies in the game right now. If you guys enjoy these videos, like, subscribe, share them with your clan members. If you guys enjoy them and benefit from them, you're sure they will as well. If you'd like to donate to the channel and continue to help me build on it and do more quality videos, go ahead and use the PayPal that's in the description here, and anything is appreciated, but not necessary. So go ahead, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and just use these friendly challenges to get the right composition for you of the troops, the spells, get used to the timing, and the whole goal is to continue to get those 6-star clan wars and practice those 3-star attacks.